Another concept in this chapter is lattice energy, and there's a question about this on the final exam. So I want to mention it here. Lattice energy is the energy that holds ions together in an ionic solid. Right? So when these ions of opposite charge line up and they organize themselves in rows and columns, the lattice energy is the energy associated with the attractions in that organized crystalline ionic solid. So what holds the ionic solid together? Ionic bonds. Why would some ionic solids have a greater lattice energy than others? Well, because they have more charge to attract. Or because they have more efficient packing. Right? So what affects lattice energy? There's two factors. One, the quantity of charge. So if I have a +2 and a -2, and those are all lined up, that's going to form stronger attractions because I have more charge to attract, and so it'll have a higher lattice energy than it would if they were +1, -1. And the other factor is the proximity of the charges. And we saw this a little bit earlier in the semester, and we started to talk about ionic substances. We said if one of the substances has a large size and then the other substance has a smaller size, I can get more of that to pack in more, and everything will pack in closer and more efficiently, and so that will have a higher lattice energy because when everything's the same size, no matter how I pack these spheres, I'm going to have these gaps here highlighted in red, and so things just can't get quite as close together. And so when the sizes are different, the smaller ones fit into the gaps between the larger ones. Everything packs closer and have a higher lattice energy. So the closer the charges, the more charge, the greater the lattice energy. Should lattice energy be a positive quantity of energy or a negative quantity of energy? Lattice energy is the energy required to break these positive-negative attractions. So lattice energy is a positive quantity of energy. Right? I have to break attractions, it's always going to be positive. And then these two, just if you look at 1081, it's really straightforward in those two examples. You're given two choices. You say, which substance has a higher lattice energy? It's going to be the substance with more charge because we don't have the background or skills developed to predict when substances will pack close and when they won't. So if I give you a question about lattice energy, look to see the primary factor which has more charge. So if you've got two ions that are both +1 and -1, it's not going to attract as much as a +1 -2, or a +2 -2, or a +3 -2, or a +3 -3. The more charge there is to attract, the stronger the attraction, the greater the lattice energy, more energy it would take to break those attractions up.